What's up, friends? So today I want to talk about the x100VI, and unfortunately this is going to be a pretty negative video because I want to talk about all the things that I absolutely hate about this camera. Now, hate's a strong word because it's a great camera, it's cool and all, it's super desirable, but it's not perfect, just like every other camera in the world. It has its flaws, it has its quirks, it has its things that are just not perfect. So I want to talk about those because if you're interested in buying one, you're going to be interested in the things that aren't the best, because obviously YouTube is full of just talking about the best of the best of the best of the best, whereas today we're going to talk about the worst of the best. Well, the bad things of the good one. The things I hate about the one that I love. You know, all those things. So let's just start off right here. As a Sony shooter since 2017, I can confidently say the autofocus on this camera sucks. It's bad. I mean, like, it works most of the time, but there's definitely been a lot of times where it just doesn't work. And especially with this being a point and shoot camera, I want this camera to be a camera that I can just toss to my wife. She can snap a few pics of our kid. I can toss it to a friend. They can snap a few pics here. I want this camera to be a easily pass aroundable camera that people can just take photos on and it just works. Now, side note there, all of the friends that I have that shoot Fuji professionally all shoot pretty much full manual focus. And over the years, I've always just thought that that was because they were better than me. They were more artistic than me. They were just cooler than me. They just knew how to pull focus better than me. But I'm starting to figure out that it's because their Fuji cameras probably are terrible at autofocus, and that's why they have to shoot in manual focus. But I learned that with this one. Obviously, like, it's okay. It works sometimes, but coming from a Sony camera, it's just unreliable is a good word there. It just doesn't work that great. Number two, and this is something that I talked about in my video of all the reasons that I like this camera, is the transfer speeds to an iPhone using the Fuji X app. Because they're 33 megapixel photos, it's just slow. It's a slow transfer speed. I know that I'm probably only trying to transfer about 10 at a time if I want any sort of use of my phone anytime soon. So the transfer speeds are just very slow. I know there's a way to take the file size way down for mobile friendly, but if you've got a camera that shoots this high quality in the 33 megapixel, why would you want to downplay that? So we're just gonna go with slow transfer speeds, because right now I think it takes on average about 30 to 40 seconds per photo to transfer. So if you've got 30 photos there, you're gonna be looking at 15 to 20 minutes, something like that. I know recently I took a family trip to the beach, and just on the drive home, we had about a 45-minute drive home. I went ahead and selected all the photos that I wanted. It was about 40 of them. Went ahead and clicked transfer, put my phone right there on the console, and I took off and I drove home for 45 minutes. And by the time that I got home, they had finally transferred to my phone. So it just takes a while. That's something that I don't like, is the transfer speeds just take a while to get there. Up next, and this one's kind of weird. This one's more of a mental play in my head. I hate that they didn't make more of these things. I hate the exclusivity of the x100VI. I hate that the fact that I have this camera is like, I hate that this is a hard camera to get, because if you're shooting with it or if you're talking to friends about it, people are like, oh my gosh, you have an x100VI. Like, how did you get one of those? What did you have to do? What kind of limb did you have to cut off and sell to the government to buy one? And I don't like those conversations. It's a camera. It's a cool camera. I wish it was just readily available online, because then it wouldn't be quite as hype. It would be just more a normal point and shoot camera, and it would be I think the overall experience of this camera would be better if there were just more available, because then everyone could use it, then everyone could have an opinion on it, then there's just no exclusivity. I just hate the exclusiveness of owning this camera. So there's that. And lastly, these are kind of running through pretty quick, but lastly, the general just UI of this camera is awkward. It's weird. As somebody who's a videographer, I see a lot of design. I see a lot of things here, there. I see good design all the time. I'm not a graphic designer, but I know what good design and bad design is most of the time. But just like when you hit the menu section of this camera, it's so interesting how there's just different fonts. Why is Bluetooth/smartphone settings a different font than airplane mode, which is a different font than Instax printer connection settings, which is a different font than Frame IO camera to cloud, which is a different font than camera connection. It's like, who designed this? Who said, hey, with this one, we're going to use all capital letters. Hey, with this one, we're going to use lowercase and capitals. Hey, with this one, we're going back to all capitals on a different font. Hey, with this one, we're going all capitals again. Hey, with this one, it's a lot of words, so we're going all capitals and we're going to make them real small. Like, who decided all this? It looks funny. I'm not really sure. It feels cheap. And for a $2,000 point and shoot camera, your menus shouldn't look cheap. So I think that's all. These are all just kind of rambling at this point. There's just 5 things that are just a little awkward, little weird, little not really sure what to think about them. But other than that, I've been loving having this camera around. The way I've talked about it on this channel, the way I do it is I am primarily a videographer. I'm not a photographer. I basically use this camera to travel with, to take family photos, to take photos of my son, my wife, just general things that we do around the house, just to have general memories photographed. Because I'm not a photographer. I don't have a Lightroom preset. I don't have all of these different workflows already for photography. So just having this camera in my bag, ready to snap a few photos while I keep all of my bigger Sony cameras like this ready for video production. It's just a good workflow and I really like it. And I understand that I'm very blessed to have a camera like this in my kit. And obviously I love it. Obviously I'm not bashing it, complaining about it, but there are 5 things that I would love to see improved in future firmware updates or just improved overall for the next iteration of this camera, because obviously the X100VI, they got something out because the demand for the X100V was incredible. And so that means they'll probably make an X100VII one day, and hopefully these things will be adjusted. So that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, we are on a mission here to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. And that's a crazy number because that means we have like 9,000 to go. So if you're interested in any of the content that I've had, if you're interested in any of the knowledge that I might be able to give you in the next time, I would appreciate if you subscribe. So I'll catch you guys on the next video. Obviously, YouTube is recommending 2 videos right here, so you might as well click one of them and watch. You never know what you might learn. So see you guys.